250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. On July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries, and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies, and we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We captivated the planet with American culture, and now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country, because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of Providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. The golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before.
Welcome to the next generation of warfare, psychological warfare. In modern conflict, the mind is a potent weapon. Discover General Michael T. Flynn's groundbreaking guide, The Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. Unlock tactics, strategies, and the mindset to navigate this cognitive battlefield that we all find ourselves in. Equip yourself against manipulation and emerge unscathed. Unleash your potential. Order now.
What's up, Warriors? It is June 23rd, 2026. It is Tuesday night. We are live, of course, and we're on a time crunch because we got to get this done by 10:30 p.m. Eastern, because then I got to bounce on over to Badlands because we'll be doing DEF CON 0. It's going to be a busy night as I pack to get on an airplane tomorrow. And don't worry, we still have Operation Gladio tomorrow. First, I just want to say shout out to Linda Goitil over there on YouTube. Shout out to 2962 Todd over there on YouTube. Shout out to Alan and Callie Bright and Beverly, Lonesome Fugitive, like the crew, like all of you guys over there in Rumble as well. And the ex-audience is probably sleeping now, but they'll wake up in a little bit. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be with you guys here on a Tuesday. And I know there's a lot of stuff you guys are seeing on social media. I know you're seeing some names that you trust, big, moderate, some even smaller, that they haven't turned on Trump. They haven't turned on MAGA, but they're saying they're feeling some rhetoric that makes you feel uncomfortable. I'm watching too, just so you guys know. And I will say this: I don't care if this is the last podcast or if I'm the last man. I promise you guys, and I give you my word on my life, I will never cheer for another country over America. I will never turn on America. And I will never leave you guys hanging. And whatever the situation develops like in our country, I promise that I will always step into the gap or through the door onto the battlefield first. I will never ask you to do something that I won't do first or in front of you. So I want to make sure that that's very clear and that you guys know that we will always fight shoulder to shoulder. And when it gets really bad, I'll take the first step forward. So with that, what are some of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight? Trump Tower, TikTok. Cool little gem. I didn't see too many people talk about. I wanted to get into it last night, but I want to keep those shows under 3 hours. So I was like, I hope someone doesn't get to it, and it doesn't look like anybody picked up on it. So we'll be starting that pretty early in the show. Tucker Carlson quits. A little bit on that one. We won't spend too much time there, but we're talking about it. And of course, what you guys all been waiting for since yesterday, the White House goes Q. They do a little hat tip today. And then, of course, Trump puts Israel into a very clear and distinct position. Concede to what my demands are, or you're going to fall. So with that, and since we got a big show to get into, let's first give a shout out to Rumble over here that has provided us a phenomenal platform. And you're going to see a QR code populate over my shoulder here in just a second. There it is. You also see that link in the live chat. Don't hesitate it. You can click on it while I'm talking. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so that you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you have felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today. Everybody's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all the complexity and it makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar backed stable coins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay so that you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this right now. Scan that QR code that is on the screen or click the link in the description and download the Rumble wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and boom, you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some and sharing some. And of course, our next one, and it is showtime. You know I love them. We'll be talking about them forever. Pet Club.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
All right, so now it is showtime. Let's get into this. Let me just scroll up where we're at. At the end of the show tonight, we have an outro video clip that is just, damn, it's motivating. It's going to hit you here. It's going to make you just want to get in the fight. I mean, it's solid. So I promise you're going to be good. So we're at about 2 hours and 14 minutes. So let's get going. This was the teaser clip that we played coming into here. The White House this is back from March, just so for those of you that don't know. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the hearts of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Now, I want you to key on a couple things that the White House said here. One, the revolution that began in 1706 has not ended. So just so you know, that's a pretty bold statement in of itself. But I think we're all kind of on the page of understanding that. But here's the part that I like. And the independence still burns in the hearts of every American patriot. Not every American. Every American patriot. And as controversial as this statement's going to be that I'm going to say right now, clip it, start some shit. I don't care. Not all Americans are the same, built the same, or have the same type of love for this country. And the White House understands that. And that's why they said in every American patriot. And you know, if you're an American patriot or just an American. And guess what? If you're just an American, well, it is what it is. That's how you'll be remembered. You're definitely not going to have a legacy. If you're an American patriot, you're going to have a legacy. So let's just get into some quick news, get the gears warmed up and fire off. Candace Owens. This is, I don't even know what to comment to this, but let's read it. Yep, it's that simple. Pregnancy means I can do whatever and no one can say anything or critique me because I'm growing a child, and the Bible is very clear about the innocence of the life that grows inside of me. I'm instantly and suddenly removed from all responsibility. Thank you to my supporters. We've officially graduated to the TPUSA faith griff. Now, first of all, absolutely, the child that grows in her is absolutely innocent, and my prayers that that child grows healthy. That aside, is she kind of being sarcastic here? Yes and no. This is her mentality. She does think that she is better than the rest. She does think that she is better than her audience. And she truly does have this mentality. Now, again, she's exaggerating it to kind of, throw some shade at TPUSA, but this is really her mentality. She sees herself as, I would say, the opposite of the way I see my audience. She sees her audience as somebody who should serve her and protect her. I see my audience as somebody that I need to serve and I need to protect. And I think that's a big difference between the ones that are like her and the ones that are like me. But this is information war. Again, I hope that her baby grows healthy and that her pregnancy is safe. But it does not change my opinion that Candace herself, excluding the innocence of the child that grows in her, is a POS. And so if you're triggered, Stand by. You'll get triggered a little bit more. Nick Sorter puts breaking massive Trump win. This is a big deal, folks. A U.S. appeals court has just allowed the Trump administration to expedite the removal of illegals from our country. The 2-1 ruling affirms illegals anywhere in the U.S. can be removed without seeing an immigration judge if they've been in the U.S. for less than 2 years before their arrest. This policy used to only be used in the immediate vicinity of the U.S. border. Now it is being implemented nationwide. Keep pushing for deportations. Folks, if you're not reading what's being put down, these are the steps and measures for what's coming. Patriots are in control. JD Vance puts $3.7 billion fraud scheme, one of the biggest Medicare scams in history. The fraudster fled to Turkey in May of 2025, but U.S. officials have brought him back to Miami, where he will face justice for his crimes against the American people. If you steal from the American people, there will be no safe harbor for you anywhere in the world. Now, think for a second here. If we're going around the world to get people for fraud, what do you think our military and DOJ is going to do for those that did treason? For those that came after our American children? And for those that tried to collapse the United States of America? If this is the lengths that we will go to for fraud, stand by to stand by. This movie's getting good. Let's keep going. And I'm so fired up. I didn't even do my normal 5x5s, but I don't see anybody complaining. So I think our audio is pretty good. Do me a solid, you guys. I know it's an earlier show, but you're still here with me. Push the heart, right? Don't get that out there. Smash the thumb, leave a comment, share this out there. Let's get a bunch of people in here. We're approaching that 1,000 mark on Rumble, and we're approaching that 700 mark over there on YouTube. So I can definitely use you guys to fire this up and get us going. JD Vance, again, 460 criminal charges, 6.5 billion intended loss, 1.4 billion actual loss, 1.4 billion dollars. You know how many homeless vets you could have taken care of? You know how many children that haven't been adopted yet that could have been taken on trips to amusement parks? You know how many parents that are wanting to adopt but don't have the finances to get it started? You know how much what you could have done for the American people with $1.4 billion, and these people stole it. $127 million in seized assets. Great work by Secretary Kennedy, Director or Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, FBI Director Cash, and Dr. Oz on today's fraud takedown. If you're committing fraud, again, we will find you. FBI Director Cash Patel puts today's sentencing shows that the FBI remains committed to identifying, locating, and dismantling Antifa and its funding networks across the country. Acts of violence against our law enforcement partners will not be tolerated, and we will continue our work to protect communities across the country from domestic terrorism. This is not a typo, folks. I went and I confirmed this across multiple platforms. Leader of the Antifa cell members in North Texas sentenced to 100 years in prison for terrorist attack on ICE facility. They gave this POS a century. A century. They gave him a sentence that he will not be able to live out. Maybe, because science is changing. 100 years for Antifa, a criminal enterprise, a terrorist organization. And just remember, this is what they did to the leader of Antifa. What do you think lies in store for the leaders of the cabal, the deep state? I saw someone in the chat. I didn't get to catch the name because it went so fast. Said they got their alpha mug. Cheers. Cheers, my friend. Whoever it was, let me know so I can see. I'd love to give you a shout out by name for supporting me here. It's a big ass mug, huh? If you put it on social media, whatever you put it on, tag me and I'll make sure to repost it and let people know to give you some love. And I'll try to keep an eye on there so I don't miss it. But yeah, it gets me fired up. So let's keep going. 100 years. God, I'm this happy. Secretary Marco Rubio You guys heard us talking about this on Q After Hours. Maybe we just know a little something. Secretary Rubio says the situation in Cuba is devolving as the island's corrupt, brutal, and anti-American communist regime continues to prioritize its own total control over the freedom, opportunity, and basic well-being of the Cuban people. Cuban military-controlled conglomerate GESA has persistently served as the main vector for the regime elites to steal the island's few resources, diverting them for repression, anti-American subversion, and spying instead of schools, power plants, and the basic necessities for the Cuban people. Today, I designated additional GESA network entities associated with moving both its money and its physical assets, as well as entities responsible for exploiting Cuba's mineral and metal reserves for ill-gotten profit. Anyone providing services for these sanctioned actors is at the risk of being sanctioned themselves. Foreign banks and other companies that provide services for these entities should freeze those accounts immediately. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out Things of Holding, gifting 5 subscriptions over there in Rumble. Pretty awesome. You guys didn't see our little sponsorship conversation yesterday on Things of Holding. Make sure you go peep them out. I'll go and add that link to tonight's show too so you guys can see it. Make sure you use promo code ALPHA10. Get additional 10% off. Got some cool F-bond magnets and stuff like that. I did see a comment come over there, super chat from YouTube. Let's throw this on there. Just shake things up a little bit today. Daniel Whitley, 2029, with a $5 super chat says, that's why Cash personally came here to New Zealand to open up an FBI field office. No quarter here. And a whole lot of great things going on in New Zealand, Valhalla. Don't get me sidetracked. Y'all know how to do it. Let's get going. But again, with Cuba, Cuba's on the radar, folks. Cuba and Mexico. So get ready. Pushing on, Homeland Security, child predators arrested. HSI Kansas City, in coordination with the FBI and local partners, arrested multiple child predators during a World Cup focus operation targeting human trafficking or human traffickers. We will not allow child predators to roam freely in our communities. These monsters will be brought to justice. And this is a quote posting of Border Hawk News. A multi-agency operation target World Cup related human trafficking has led to the apprehension of child sexual predators across the U.S. That is phenomenal. That alone is winning. We ain't done though. Jack Unheard puts breaking. Trump says a national right to carry law is in the works. If you missed it, Trump, while he was out in Pennsylvania today, was talking with I forget his name, from the NRA, but nonetheless, he went out there and he goes, I'm going to do a free poll. It's a Trump poll for the audience. And he says, national open carry. And who's with it? And of course, the crowd just lost their mind. And he says, well, just so you guys know, there's already something in the works. And so Trump is our man. Another super chat coming in over there from Just Girl 555, $20 super chat. Thank you very much, Just a Girl. So let's keep going. This is our last one. We're going to get into our themes tonight. Just in, the U.S. Senate has just passed an Iran powers resolution to block President Trump's authorities in Iran while he works out a peace deal. This passed 50-48. Stop wasting time on this bullshit. It won't bind Trump into anything. Why do the Democrats and some Republicans want to take away 47's leverage? Fetterman was against it, the Democrat. The Republican yays, Cassidy, Collins, Paul, Murkowski, shocker. Trump's war powers are ensuring Iran can never get a nuclear weapon. And you say, well, Trump will veto it. Trump will absolutely veto it. But they're doing this to try to subvert the strength that Trump can display during these negotiations. Because what do you think that they're going to tell Vance? What do you think that they're going to tell Trump or Kushner or Witkoff? Well, your own government's not wanting to give you these things. So again, Trump will veto it. They're not going to be able to stop him. But this is the politics. This is them trying to destroy morale. We didn't see the show that we did yesterday. About midway in the show, we showed about a 6-minute segment with Yuri Bezmenov on the 4 stages of how we got our country to where it is and what they plan to do with it. And you guys are just fired up today over there on YouTube. Check this out. Soar47 just became a member to the Alpha fam for $3 months. Flex with the eagle right there. That's what I'm talking about. Again, seriously, guys, thanks for the support. It's much, much appreciated. Now, let's get into some of tonight's themes. And let me put my little banner across. Like, we want to get us some Pet Club Alpha. You don't got that banner going. My bad. It's fired up with you guys. That's all. Let me get these videos ready. And then check it out over there on Rumble. Behind my chair. Love earlier shows. I'm on the East Coast and can't stay up that late, but always catch you on the replay behind my chair. Well, I guess that's kind of fair. Late one on Monday, early one on Tuesday. Maybe we set this as something that stays consistent. Y'all know I like that ish when it comes to time. But I was talking about Trump Tower TikTok. You guys are gonna like this. The White House put this out. This was on the 16th. 11 years ago, a single ride down that golden escalator that changed history, changed the future too. Over a decade of trials, triumphs, and an unrelenting fight for America. Can you guys believe it's been 11 years? Wild. Especially 4.5 of those. Rough. But let me play this clip real quick. And I want you guys to listen to stuff. Obviously, it's 38 seconds, but let me hit play. Electric Avenue. Now, aside from the fact that they just got phenomenal taste in music, shout out to my circa 80s fam, right? Gen X. Let me know what generation you are if you don't mind. But what caught my attention right out of the gate on this, because you guys know I rely on that detective instinct, right? It's gonna be accurate the majority of the time, is the fact that it wasn't just Trump Tower, but they made the clock lamp a focal point. They nearly centered it, right? And so I said, that's interesting. Well, let's look at the time. Well, the time would read 3:07 or 15:07. Just want to bring that to your attention, but they made it a 38-second clip. So let's go to 38 on the boards first to see if there's anything they're trying to send over to us. And that being, and I see, thank you for dropping that in their things of holding. You made it easier for me. So now I can pin that. Oh, yeah. Check that out. Post 38, November 2nd, 2017. 4 carrier and escorts in the Pacific. Why is that relevant? To prevent other state actors from attempting. Let me zoom in on this. You guys are like, come on, Alpha. We're Gen X. We got contacts and reading glasses now. To prevent other state actors from attempting to harm us during this transition. Russia, China, ? Or conversely, all 4, North Korea, or all 3. Think logically about the timing of everything happening. Note increased military movement. Note National Guard deployments starting tomorrow. Note false flags. Follow HUMA. Prepare messages for reassurance based on what was dropped here to spread on different platforms the calm before the storm. The significant thing, I think, here is think logically about the timing of everything happening. Now, granted, they put a damn clock in there to get us to even come to this post. So there's that. But then the second part I want to bring to your guys' attention is the increased military movement, the National Guard deployments, and note for false flags. And if we go back to about 2 weeks ago when we had crews come out and hint towards false flags, and then we get this post, and we know that the closer we get to cutting this deep state apparatus out, the higher the propensity for them to do something like a false flag. Now, again, I trust our military intelligence. I trust our military. I trust our president. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job of trying to curve, the threat that these things represent. But at the end of the day, it is hard to be 100% on that. So again, we got to be prepared for that. But then let's go to 15:07, which is 3:07. military time. And this is June 15th, 2018, which is interesting because this is June 16th. So it's referencing a post from the day before. And like me and Josh have been saying, one of the things that we've noticed consistently since Q has brought these posts or these correlations to X or Twitter, we've known a ±2 forward, ±2 backward. So keep that in consideration. But again, June 15th, 2018, I know confirming the Q proof is going to be tough and will also flood the bread. We need some type of guidance. What should we have ready? I know you work for us, USA, but we Anons work for you. Tell us what needs to be ready. And then Q would respond. We'll inspect review. Marine One proofs forthcoming. Remember that Marine One, that's the helicopter, right? And Air Force One inside thereafter. Ain't that interesting? Air Force One inside, not Air Force One thereafter, but Air Force One inside thereafter. More and more Q. Alpha, where are you going with this? Well, just remember, this post is from the 16th. And then we get here. Marine One on the 16th. Yvonne France going to the G7. Well, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe. But it is also a 12-second video. So let's go to post 12. See what that unfolds. October 30th, 2017, military intelligence reference above is the absolute biggest inside drop this board will ever receive. Now think about why Antifa plays right into the plan. Antifa? You mean the leader that just got a sentence to 100 years? Always ahead. Good guys are winning. I like that. And then if we look at this is 2:03 my time, which would be 5:03 would be the military time. Didn't find relevance to that. But if we go to the delta of June 16th, I do think I found something here that was quite interesting. Future proves fast, or future proves past, news unlocks. And I think this kind of sets us up for a conversation we're going to have, later in the show with the White House going to Q. But I want to go back to right here. Oops. Remember, Marine One proofs incoming. And then following that post, we have Scavino post Marine One. But then the post also tells us Air Force One thereafter that. So then after Scavino posts about Marine One, then we're supposed to get posts about Air Force One. And then 3 days later, we get the retirement of the old Air Force One, and we get the announcement of the new Air Force One. There's Trump coming from inside. This is posted by Rapid Response 47. I played this yesterday. You guys heard the Lee Greenwood song that was playing. And then we get this one. I think this is a new one you guys haven't heard. It's only 16 seconds. Let me play this. Air Force One looks incredible. Indeed, it does. I see Callie Bratt says, things of holding, your stool sample is hilarious. If you're in the chat, you're like, what the are you guys talking about? Only one way to find out. You got to go to thingsofholding.com. Use promo code ALPHA10. And you will see what's so hilarious. Don't panic. It ain't what you're thinking. Although I know it sounds bad. But let's keep going with this Air Force One. Because then RT, and they are not the only ones, Trump brags new Air Force One luxury, not seen even outside a plane. That bed looks perfect for all-night hosting. And I went and did some research on this. They haven't released any interior photos of the new Air Force One, the one that was gifted to us. However, these photos are of that specific plane at the time that it was gifted to the United States of America. And one of the things that I was able to kind of pull from all the articles and stuff that I was reading on the new Air Force One is there wasn't a whole lot of interior changes. So again, this might be kind of what the inside looks like. The other thing to note about what's inside this plane is, to Trump's speech yesterday that we played on the new Air Force One, when he says we have communication technology that's unheard of, highest security clearance, right? So just a little play there on the Trump Tower. It all kind of just blended in nicely to perfect timestamps and perfect deltas, but maybe it's just a coincidence. I think we'll get our answer before this show's over. Let's shift gears a little bit. Svetlana Lakova. She's freaking awesome, and I know I'm butchering her name. She goes, and she also brings it up. 11 years ago, Donald Trump descended the tower escalator, and Barack Obama weaponized the entire U.S. intel apparatus to destroy him. This was day one of the grand conspiracy. Now, I'll disagree with her on this one. This grand conspiracy has been in play for a long time, but for this specific RICO case, I can see where she's getting that day one grand conspiracy. Obama knew the Trump-Russia collusion was a Clinton hoax from the start. She continues, Barack Obama knew Hillary's plan to tie Trump to Russia. Brennan briefed him personally. Brennan owned handwritten notes prove Obama gave the green light to the FBI CIA op based on Clinton CIA manufactured intel. Eyewitnesses who cooperated with Durham, I exposed it all in my books. Spygate Exposed and Obama's Grand Conspiracy coming soon. I need to get her on here and talk about the books. We're going to make that happen, folks. We will make that happen. Obama has answers to give America. And again, right here, you bring this up, Donald Trump, by stirring up a scandal. And then right there, hard to read what that one in the red says. But again, you got Obama there, James Comey down there. We go to the next one, Obama and Brennan. Talk about a evil duel. Let's keep going. She says Obama's deputy CIA director, Avril Haines, neck deep in Russiagate, became Biden's DNI, then helped raid Mar-a-Lago to hide Crossfire hurricane documents implicating Obama Brennan. And right there, you see Avril Haines. She got her highlighted. And then over here on this one, again, the Honorable Avril Haines. And then you have Adam Schiff, little signature there, along with Chairman Maloney. And we go to the next one. And this will end it right here. Susan Rice's by the book note after the Oval Office meeting with Obama, Biden, Comey, CIA while they plotted. Obama ordered for the FBI's Trump-Russia investigation to be concealed from the incoming Trump administration and its national security advisor because Obama was the one who ordered to fabricate the whole thing. Right there, we got it. On January 5th, from a national security perspective, Comey said he does not have some concerns. And then we go down to the next red line. The NSC should not pass sensitive information related to Russia to Flynn, talking General Flynn, Mike Flynn. Comey replied, potentially. Crossfire Razor, Crossfire Hurricane, all these things were unfolding then. And they're going to be in the news again very soon. With that, we're getting to our next major part here as we move into Israel, surrender or fall. I just want to tell people, okay, we're talking about the Israeli government. We're talking about the intelligence apparatus. We're talking about Mossad, Unit 8200. This is in no way, shape, or form against the Israeli citizens. And despite what others may say, I separate governments, their apparatus, away from the people. So Megan Heaton puts, it was over before it started. I played this clip a couple months ago, so I'm glad to see that others are picking up on it and sharing it as well. But I definitely want you guys to see it. So take a listen.
I'm not here today because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You're going to have a war. And it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations. And I mean grab it and keep it. And get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran. We need strength. I mean, you think Gorbachev is tough. Think of this character Khomeini. I mean, this son of a bitch is something like nobody's ever seen.
Folks, for those of you that have heard the rhetoric of Trump went after Iran for Israel, he has had this position for decades. So don't fall for the hype. Let me get this adjusted right here real quick, because there's a reason why I do this. Give me 1 second while I try to fix this real quick. All right, hopefully that worked. So, little insider information for those wondering, you got a lot of tabs up there, Alpha. I know. The way I put this information together when I'm researching, and I'll be quick on this because I know we're on a time crunch, is there's all kinds of news that's reported out there. I try to stick to people who are consistently accurate, even some of the people you've noticed that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'll still report on content that I feel that they're being accurate with. But there's, these tabs are anywhere between 70 to 100 tabs, is a Just Alpha show. But it's around 300 at the beginning, and then it gets filtered down. And what I try to do is in the week, the week to week that we do these shows, is I try to pinpoint it to what I feel is the most important information that we need to be aware of, that covers stuff that's coming, but also to kind of show the patterns of these things. And, some people that might say, well, this kind of seems like something that's been in the news a lot and other people aren't covering it. There's things like that I want to cover. So when I put all this together, for me, it's like I'm writing a song of content, and I'm putting it in a way where it flows and it's understandable, and it kind of paints the picture of the timeline. That said, there's some stuff that happened earlier but makes more sense now. So that's why sometimes I bring in some of this older material that maybe we covered a few months ago or a few years ago, because now it has relevance. So there's a little insider information to how I kind of put these shows together. It's not just grabbing a bunch of tabs and talking. There's actually a purpose, which brings us to the New York Post. Trump admin rejected Israel's request to see the Iran deal. So kind of a big deal when, the Israeli government is our biggest ally. Kind of a big deal when you've seen the sound bites that Trump and Bibi himself have both been putting out there into the newsway. Now we get into Ezra Cohen, obviously very important to the Trump administration. He says, key difference between the MOU and the JCPOA. And I'm not even going to summarize this. I'm going to let JD explain this one.
He's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. And the difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this, and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program, we're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. this deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal.
So again, clarification on these things is important because I see this being weaponized on all kinds of different social media platforms. I see some people even trying to make the argument that Obama's deal was better, which is actually a clown show. That said, something is happening right now that I don't think I've ever seen, or at least I've never seen it while it's happening. But we have around just about 1,500 people watching live on Rumble and the exact same number watching live on YouTube. So it's a race. You guys are neck and neck. So I thought that's pretty cool. Usually Rumble's numbers are dominating YouTube. And tonight the YouTube fam said, we're showing up. We're here for the party. That said, let me give some love to the people there giving this show some love on Rumble. The Rumble Rants, $5 coming in from Alan S333. Rumble, the best. And then, of course, Jackie Espada rating the stream, followed by Cam Cooksey rating the stream. Excited to hang out with both these Badlanders here in the next few days. $10 coming in from Emerald Dragon 1333. Hey, Alpha, don't catch you live much, so wanted to show some love. You, Josh, and Badlands give me something worthwhile to listen to all day at work. P.S. I'm a millennial and you need us, so take it easy. LOL. I got to get you fired. I got to get you millennials fired up too. And you know I got love for the other generations. My kids fall in those generations. Gen X is still the best though. $50 coming in from ST Spears. Thanks for your hard work and information you give us. Great show as usual. And ST Spears, you've been around for a very long time, so thank you for the continued support. So carrying on, Eric Dowder reports thin. Just in, President Trump announces that he's going to hold a press conference and personally read every word of the Iran deal to force the fake news into covering it accurately. Great idea. Let's play this clip. It's kind of low, so I try to raise it, but if it doesn't come out, I'll just read the quotes that are there anyways.
Our Navy, because the naval blockade was unbelievable. But I'll not only release it, I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word so that the press covers it accurately. Because it's a very important document, and unlike Obama, who could have destroyed the Middle East with a horrible JCPOA, it is the worst agreement. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon. I mean, I see these people say, but we already had one. That was the worst. He paid a fortune for it. We pay nothing. We don't pay. There was some statement, we're going to spend $300 billion. No, we're not. We're allowed to go and invest if we wanted to someday in the future. We have no obligation whatsoever. It could be that Iran will turn out to be successful when they have oil. But if we left a week ago, just left, before the last two attacks, it would have taken them 20 years to rebuild Iran.
So, Mike Irons is fired up in the chat. I'm going to read this one because it's good. Mike Irons says, I don't watch YouTube. I remember what they did to us. Also, y'all look like clowns when you censor yourselves for them. Hey. Mike, you're not wrong, but the mission's also bigger than you and bigger than me. What a certain platform did to us, yeah, it sucked very bad. But there's also an audience of people out there that have never heard our content and don't know the information that we know. And sometimes you just got to step on your ego and step on your pride, take a couple hits to the chin, and be in the areas you don't want to be. So hear where you're coming from, Mike. But it's bigger than us, brother. Let's keep going, because this is all setting up the punch that Trump is throwing right here. The White House says President Donald J. Trump meets with the UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. I just want to say His Highness is a warrior. The relationship has been outstanding, and it's an honor to be with you. We just signed a deal with Iran, and this country was a very powerful ally. So now this is Trump giving some love to the UAE. And why does all this matter? Because Trump is, the word that's used a lot, because Trump puts it out there, is discombobulation, right? And we talked about that yesterday, especially with Yuri Bezmenov's ideological subversion, right? Again, I'll say go and watch. If you don't want to watch the whole show yesterday, at least go to the middle part to watch that. It is that important. But why is that important? To disrupt the narrative of what they have had for decades. Trump is doing things that are just, it's literally making people feel physically uncomfortable. It's crazy. I watch this stuff when I go into these virtual spaces on all these different platforms. People get uncomfortable and angry. And, as much as we don't like that, it's also showing that the programming that the deep state did was near perfection. Near perfection, because these aren't dumb people. I know a lot of times we wanted to say they're dumb and retarded, right? Because it makes us feel better because we're frustrated. But the fact is these are some brilliant people. It's just propaganda was that good. And what Trump is doing here is he's showing, look, this country, the UAE, helped us to do peace. He gave a shout out to Russia and China with the Iran peace deal. He's talking about, we're going to be able to invest out there in Iran. And folks, if you're not aware and you have, a preconceived, idea of what Iran looks like, and you're thinking, camels and ninja outfits and a bunch of desert, go look at some of the old images from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Go look at what it looked like. And it will shock you. It shocked me. Shocked me when I was in Baghdad and found out that there was Christians there. I was like, what? Let's keep going. The White House puts the United States is committed to peace. We expected a complete ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. President Trump. And the cool part here is they literally highlighted that part from Trump's truth posts. So they didn't just type it, they highlighted it because they want everybody to be paying attention to this stuff. We got some love coming in over there from the YouTube super chats. Let me throw this one up here so you guys can see it real quick. Now 74, $10 super chat. So glad to catch you live. Been watching you and Josh since I saw you on Barry's show. That's Barry Cunningham, folks, if you're not aware of him. Solid dude, like him very much. Between all three of you, I feel so informed, and I'm red pilling as many people I can at my liberal post office. Just be careful, because we know them post offices get a little heated. That's probably a really bad joke. I apologize. You know what I'm saying. Then we get to this one. If you guys didn't catch this is wild. Hillary Clinton turns against Israel as well, as reported from Parody Jeff. He put, what the fuck is going on? This is not AI. This is a real clip of her saying this. It's on multiple news outlets that shared it. Not very many mainstream ones, but they're out there. Listen to what she says, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it.
Well, you're absolutely right. When I was secretary, it was a constant, theme by Netanyahu and his then government, the then defense minister, Ehud Barak, the former prime minister. Mm-hmm. It was relentless. It was a constant push. I remember...
what would he say to you?
What?
What would he say to you?
He would basically say, you need to support us in attacking Iran. And back then, this was, 2009 to the end of 2012, we had more capacity than Israel did on several fronts to do that. And so there was a constant argument that we would have. And I remember one day I was on the phone for hours with Ehud, with Bibi, with others, and they would say things like, our planes are on the tarmac. And I'd say, well, good luck. I mean, great. Why are you doing this?
Where else would planes be other than in the air?
But on the tarmac, ready to take
off.
Okay. Yes. Well, no, they'd be in the hangar, but they were on the tarmac. And you would say things.
You're saying you were being played
all the time. I mean,
by an ally that receives an enormous amount of aid.
Well, of course. And look, Bibi's been
Now, of course, if you guys remember, Hillary and Bill testified about 2 months ago now, 2.5 months ago. Doesn't seem like that was that long, but I know time's flying. Bill went and made it during that testimony. He made sure to make sure on the record that I've never seen Trump. Boss man Trump is clean. Nothing ever made me think that this guy is bad. And now you got Hillary here going against the deep state. What do I mean by that? Obviously, we know that the deep state has its fingers into the Israeli government, right? This goes into everything from AIPAC to 9/11. Yeah, we don't have to deliberate that narrative here. I think most of you at least are on board with that concept. And if we know Hillary is deep state, and she's going after the main one of the main instruments for the deep state, what does that tell you, folks? That she's trying to save her bacon. That Bill was trying to save his bacon. I think that they have absolutely been captured and that they are going to turn against the main, not that they're going to, that they have turned against the big fish in the deep state. Now, a lot of you would say, well, they are the big fish. Folks, Hillary Clinton, the Obamas, they're at the top of the totem pole for what we've seen, but they're not the big fish. These are the Manchurian candidates. They're the elites, but these aren't the main fish. We haven't seen the faces and the names of the main fish. A lot of people come out with the easy answer. It's the bloodlines. They're involved, but I've always held the position that the 1% of the 1%, we've never even said their names once, because that's how these people operate. For decades, if not centuries, these people have never had to come into the public light to expose their power and their control. It's these people that they've always had like this. And so when we see powerful figures, because there is no hiding it, Hillary Clinton is a powerful figure. Her body count for people that are 6 feet under is not a whole lot of people have that kind of body count. So they're powerful and they're dangerous, but they are not the top. They are the ones we need to get to the top. And I hopefully that gives you some understanding and a perspective of why we would bring them in to make these types of deals. Let's keep going because it just gets better. Mar on the Fall puts out, JD Vance just torched Ben Gvir and Smotrich. You can't just kill your way out of every national problem. Trump has tasked the VP with literally being Dennis the Menace on this exposure of the Israeli government. Take a listen.
But yeah, you've seen people in their system, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, who've attacked the deal. And I guess my response to them would be, what is your exact proposal? And, you're a country of 9 million people. You can't just kill your way out of solving every single national security problem that you have. Look at what
you have heard people saying this on social media, and it's true. I don't disagree with this, but you have heard the people that have, this is what I want you guys to key in on. You have heard people on social media and alt media podcasts, even some of the podcasts that I'm grateful that they brought me on to share my story, but I completely disagree with their positions. I even question their motives. But you see these people saying, well, JD Vance, he's the one saying it because Trump doesn't have the cojones to do it. First of all, let's be very clear. If you think JD Vance can go on television and make a statement that's opposed to how Trump feels about something, and he's going to remain out there doing a media blitz, you have lost your damn mind. I've said this all the way back to late January after Trump was inaugurated and everybody was coming after Pam Bondi, when people are coming after Cash and Bongino. None of these people are saying things, doing things, or not doing things outside the undeniable demands from President Trump. Everything they're doing and not doing is strictly on the direction of the president. Whether it's things you like or you don't, there is nothing that is happening or being said that is not in Trump's control. And so when JD Vance is out here doing this Trump is the one that has orchestrated this. Think about that. Now, we're going to get into another statement. I think it's this one or the next one. Yeah, it is this one, where JD Vance makes a statement kind of to what I'm talking about now with Bibi, and I'll explain. So let's take a listen to this one.
He's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
So what I was talking about, he says, even though he goes to his credit, Bibi hasn't said these things. The people in his cabinet have. Now, why does he bring that into the spotlight? Because he's telling Bibi, we know what you're doing. It's exactly what I'm saying with Trump, that Vance, Tulsi, Polte when he gets there, Clayton when he gets there, Cash, Todd Blanche, none of these people are saying things that is not at the direction of the president. So when JD comes out and says, you know, the members of Bibi's cabinet are coming out and saying these things, even though Bibi hasn't, what he's saying is, Bibi, better get your dogs in check, because we know what you're doing and we're going to start attributing their actions to you since you are the prime minister. He's literally calling Bibi out here. Not just, you know, the pro-Israel supporters in terms of like the extreme Zionism in the government, but he's putting them on notice right here. This is how I take it. Then we get the Israeli Defense Forces. While Hezbollah are committed to violating the ceasefire and creating instability, we are committed to protecting our civilians and operating against terror. So you have the comments Trump's making at the G7. You have the comments Trump saying about the president of UAE helping him, Xi helping him, Putin helping him. On the brink of peace with Iran, we're gonna sign the deal. All this is going on. Everybody's like, we are this damn close to peace in the Middle East, something that people thought wouldn't happen unless the revelations of the Bible were unfolding, and we're right here. And he's telling Bibi, calm your shit. You know, he even used some other words. I don't want to misquote them because they were pretty wild. And this is what the Israeli Defense Forces put out. Take a listen.
Overnight, Hezbollah once again attacked IDF soldiers operating in southern Lebanon to protect the Israeli civilians. We lost 4 of our soldiers. They were killed while protecting their country. Over the course of weeks, and including last night, Hezbollah has launched hundreds of explosive drones and rockets at Israeli civilians and soldiers. These attacks by Hezbollah are violations of the ceasefire. They prove that Hezbollah's goals remain the same: to remain on Israel's borders and to plan and carry out attacks on our civilians. This is not a reality we can accept, and this is exactly why the IDF continues to operate in southern Lebanon. Recent events have made one thing clear: IDF soldiers must stand between Hezbollah and Israeli civilians. We will not wait for the next attack to reach our homes. We will continue to remove immediate threats, respond to Hezbollah's violations, and do whatever is necessary to protect our civilians. Our mission remains the same: to ensure that Hezbollah cannot rebuild itself and pose a threat to our civilians.
You guys remember the movie? I liked it. Some of you might judge me. The Guardian. It was Kevin Costner and what's that young kid? that all you ladies, it's almost a heartthrob. Ashton Kutcher. It's Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher. And in the movie, they're talking about the scene where he's like, just fingertips. And he's holding the guy with just fingertips, and it talks about how, it tears the muscles in Costner's shoulder and all this stuff to keep him alive. This is what I see between Trump and Israel. He's literally holding them, saying, look, y'all run out of fingers, you're going to fall. And you have Bibi's government, whether you think Bibi is being baited or whether you think he has a role to play, it's irrelevant to what the outcome's the same, right? And Bibi's right there, and he's almost grabbing the fingers and making it drop. Like, this is where we're at, folks. We're coming like this. Trump wants to make us go like this so everybody can get along. And Bibi's just like, nope, we're going in for an impact. Like, that is what's going on. I'm going to show you. Benjamin Netanyahu says, as I instructed. You have JD Vance, few tabs ago, says, even though Bibi's cabinet saying this, Bibi's not, and this is Bibi saying, I'm the boss. I'm saying what's going on here, right? Kind of just like what Trump's doing. He says, as I instructed, the IDF struck powerfully 150 Hezbollah targets in Lebanon and eliminated dozens of terrorists. Re-enter Trump. Breaking President Trump publicly rebukes Israel over its war against Hezbollah. Take a listen.
Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody. Because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it. And I didn't like Syria. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It wasn't like in the southern side, and it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable, and he's been very good for me. He's protected everything that I've asked for. He's done. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, he'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
Some very interesting choice of words that Trump delivers there. If he can't accomplish a job without killing everybody else, that's one. So earlier, Trump gives flowers to the UAE. Now he's giving flowers to Syria. And you're seeing the Mark Levins, you're seeing, Huckabee, they're all losing their mind over Trump making these statements. But then you got Hillary Clinton saying, yeah, that's what they do. They lie to us. They try to use us. Kind of interesting that she brought up the tarmacs too, but I'm saving that for another show. But in case you're thinking I missed it, I didn't. But that will take us in a completely different direction than I want to go in this conversation. But still very interesting. Some of you probably understand what I'm talking about anyways. But nonetheless, this is Trump. Again, he is ridiculing Bibi and the IDF for how they're handling this while giving flowers, promoting, and saying how great these other people are as allies, people we've been told to fear. Let's keep going. Tomorrow in the fall post, according to Israel's Channel 12, the Trump administration is opening unofficial communication channels with opposition leaders in Israel. It's because of frustration with ministers in Netanyahu's government making extremist comments and a growing belief that his days in charge may be numbered. Not the regime change Bibi was hoping for. Now, again, if we rewind the clock back a couple years ago following the October 7th thing, I'd put out a post saying that you are going to see a regime change in Iran and a regime change in Israel. Trump wasn't even campaigning for president yet. Well, I mean, we knew he was, but he wasn't even campaigning for president when I put that post out years ago, because I knew where this was going. Hamas was always Israel's little boogeyman. Iran was always Israel's big boogeyman, and the fear of what could potentially happen is what was allowing this game to continue on and on and on as they expand the borders. And this was always going to be the case. So I had identified that in order to stop this, you had to remove the little boogeyman, and then you had to remove the big boogeyman. And you saw that last year when Trump went and surprised everybody and showed that Witkoff was having conversations with Hamas. And I told you guys, you're going to see Hamas shut down. And you saw that. You saw the people there starting to attack them after I had called it. And then I said, you're going to see this pop off in Iran. The same thing's going to happen. And we're there. Trump uses our military to target strictly the IRGC while not attacking the civilian portion of the government. Why? Because of the regime changes. Now, I still believe there's going to be a regime change in Israel, but I put a little asterisk on that. One of the things that I said, I remember sometime last year, I think it was in a conversation with Ghost as well, and I've brought it up since, is Bibi trying to secure his fate by doing everything Trump wants to accelerate this process, to make this all take place, so then we can move into the actual final war, which is going to happen in 2027 against a completely different country. I'm definitely open to that position. And people talk about, what are you talking about, Cam? Your dad could beat up my dad. Yeah, it's funny, man. Yeah. I'm nosy. I want to be in your guys' conversation. Looks like you guys are having fun. So then we get to MJ Truth. Says President Trump says, without him, Israel would be eviscerated. I can control Israel. They will do as I say. Listen to this.
If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu worked well with me, but he will tell you, we're the ones with the guns, we're the ones with the whole deal, we're the ones with the B-2 bombers, etc. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
Your relationship with Netanyahu
it's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean,
How?
I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and they do as I say.
I think Trump just kind of solidified that theory that I have right there. I mean, how else do you interpret that? How else do you interpret that when Trump is literally saying another nation that has its own sovereignty will do exactly the fuck I say? We got to keep Bibi a little sane. Or is he saying we got to make him look a little insane? I'm telling you, that's how I see it. And as we start to wrap this one up, the White House, oil is flowing and gas prices have begun tumbling down, now below $4 per gallon nationally. Some of you guys are seeing some phenomenal prices. I know we're starting to get a break here in Cali, which is good. And the Department of War CTO puts no hesitation, no mercy, overwhelming lethality. And you guys know since they've started posting these images, things have been very interesting. So where we're at right now with Israel, just to put a bow on this conversation for now, because it's going to be a conversation that's going to be going on for a couple weeks, at least to October. Where we're at now is it is now on public display. It is no longer just Anons, digital soldiers, people watching alt media. It is now in the public forum of mainstream, the normies, that Trump is not happy with Israel, that Trump is on the brink of peace in the Middle East, and the only obstacle is starting to look like not Iran, but Israel. And this creates a very thin line of extreme tension. Doesn't take a whole lot to get to the other side, but in that little thin line is an extreme amount of tension. A lot of this has to do with people's spirituality and faith and upbringing. So it has to be navigated perfectly. And I think Trump has done it. And I think the fact that he has escalated it to this point, that cues me in, Kek, that Trump is now comfortable with the numbers that he's been provided in this operation, that they have the statistical number that they, whatever that window was, they're now in that for the public indictment against the Israeli government on what's going on. That's where we're at. Why is that important? Because if the boards tell us saving Israel for last, and I've always had the position that means number 2 to the last, because you would never say who's the actual final enemy. That tells us, folks, that we're very, very close. And again, if you watch yesterday's show, the dynamic of everything coming into this choke point, that's where we're at right now. And 4th of July is right around the corner. So with that, let's shift gears into this. Joe Kent, we can strengthen our chances of this deal holding by cutting all military intel assistance to Israel. They took every opportunity to tank this deal and will likely do so again unless we take action. We should also quietly get our troops out of the bases in the Gulf that can be reached by Iran. This ensures Iranian hardliners can't strike us to drag us back into the fight. Take away every factor that we can control that could force us back into the war on Israel or Iran's terms. Set all the conditions that we control in our favor. Again, somebody who, with his experience and the department that he was in, knows that this is bullshit. Knows that if we were to do that, we would literally be throwing red meat into a den of hungry lions, because the terrorist organizations created by the intel agencies that surround that region would then absolutely come after Israel to create that conflict, which is what the Israeli government wants as well. They would be part of orchestrating that, and then we would actually get the war to pop off. Our presence right now, as we dismantle the deep state, that is what's keeping stabilization in that region, and the deep state knows that. But again, birds of a feather flock together, because then we get this clown. Tucker Carlson, I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance. And I just want to say, I called this when all you got mad. I told you, listen.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? That's it's not possible to vote for people like that, and I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, right, MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender. But there's no defending this, because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation. And they're not doing that. So no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out.
There's the key. Now, first, he's lying. People started digging into his background and found out that he's been a registered Democrat from 2006 to 2020. Or was it 2016? It might be 2016, not 2020. But nonetheless, he was a registered Democrat. 2, I was watching a portion of Redacted show today, and one of the things Clayton talked about is his friendship with Tucker Carlson, and when he used to do some co-hosting on Fox with Tucker Carlson. And from his own mouth, when he asked Tucker, who are you going to vote for? Tucker, in the years preceding Trump, said, he goes, I'm not voting for any of these people. So again, it was the point being made because he finally wanted to give his support to Trump, which he did, at least allegedly. But prior to that, he's sitting here telling his audience, I've always been Republican. I've always supported the Republican Party. And he's lying again, whether you believe the research that a lot of the alt media has been done, or whether you believe someone that used to co-host with them and considers him a friend that shared part of their open dialogue, it still points to one thing. He's lying. 2, why? It's what he says at the very end of that segment. Well, if I'm leaving, then there's probably a lot of people like me that are going to leave. That's always been the mission. You guys know I've said that from day one. The reason they infiltrated MAGA, the reason they infiltrated America First, was so when they finally exited the stage, their goal was to take anywhere from 20 to 30% of their base with them. Because you multiply that number by Tucker, Candace, Megyn Kelly, you name it, those numbers start to have a significant impact on subverting the opposition, whoever that opposition is to them. That is all he literally said at the very end, what the goal has always been, to pull support away from Trump. This guy, folks, is not playing a role. Roles look a certain way, and never in a role do you have someone do an act that doesn't have a high potential to get exactly what you want out of it? The way Tucker has operated is it could lead to this or it could lead to that. The good guys don't operate that way. That's not the way undercover operations work. So for those thinking that he's playing a role, I'm telling you, you're going to be disappointed. Let's go shift gears now again. And actually, before we shift gears again, let me go full screen with me. And I can get the mouse. It's so funny. So I'm looking at the mouse on that screen, but I'm trying to find it onto this screen. And one of these days, folks, we're going to have a producer on this show. Speaking of things on this show, the kids guide, folks. All right, parents, real talk for a second. America is about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters. Not just fireworks and hot dogs, but the story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why the ideas they fought for still matter today. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well that they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all down in ways kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part, it's completely free with this special offer. You just need to pay $2 for shipping and postage. So just head to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com and the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday for your kids today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. And let me get us back up here because I want to make sure we give these people another shout out. If you missed the show earlier, you're going to hear them again.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
You guys know I swear by these things. I have them right there on the table in front of me. The yellow is the blues. Yellow is the Coriolus versicolor with reishi, and then the blues are clarity, which has lion's mane in there. This is the stuff that's like the movie Limitless, right? That's the way I like to consider it. A lot of benefits, but there's definitely that one. And it looks like we got a Rumble rant that came in, so let's give some love. The final demand is now a monthly supporter. Thank you for that. Welcome to the Warrior family. And $5 coming in from Rise Attire says, love the shirt, homie, and the analysis. Looking forward to an awesome weekend, bro. See you soon. Look forward to seeing you too. And if you guys are wondering, what is he talking about? This is, let me go here. Let's go big screen real quick. This is a Rise Attire shirt. So just so you guys can see it. Patriots are now in control. You got the skull right there. So go check out Rise Attire and support those awesome Patriots. So yes, I'm glad you like the shirt, homie. All right, let's get back into this. General Flynn, either a nuclear war, a new Cold War is coming. Which is it? Bottom line, we are fools for thinking the war in Ukraine is about saving the Ukrainian people. And I think that applies to any of these wars that the globalists have put together. It's about a European vision for their version of a new world order. Trump stopped funding this war and forced the EU and NATO to decide how they want to proceed. If you think the Middle East is a shit show, and is most certainly is, the very dangerous consequences allowing this war of corruption in Ukraine to go on, the more we are heading into a global disaster of epic proportions. Time to reevaluate all foreign policy objectives. And just something to point out too, if you remember the old Air Force One, Kind of looks like NATO colors, right? Got rid of that, retired it. And then the new Air Force One, which if you saw yesterday's show, you saw the correlation to JFK Jr.'s plane, you know, very more Americana looking paint job to it. So symbolism could be. Then we get into, oh, just read that, sorry. Then we get into Pete Hegseth. It's time. Why is that important? Well, Ezra Cohen says, good idea. Referencing Pete Hegseth. It's time. Remember, this is June 18th. And then we get into, showed this yesterday. Pete Hegseth puts out It's Time. Tim Burchett puts out It's Time. And then DNI Tulsi Gabbard says it's time. You know the truth. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to go real deep into it, but I wanted to show this graphic just to remind us this all went down. It's time. It's time. It's time. Why does all this matter? This is all June 18th, right? 2 days ahead of schedule. All right. What are we talking about? Well, just remember that. And let's get into this next part. A little fun right here. The White House has gone full Grand Theft Auto 6. And I don't care who in here trash talks. I am going to get that game and I am going to binge play that game because Grand Theft Auto is freaking awesome. But it's so graphic. It is. And it's fun. And I'm going to get in the taxi and I'll run people over. And then I'm going to get a helicopter and I'm going to get 5 stars. And hopefully you guys are online. I don't know. Maybe you guys want to watch me play it online and just listen to me trash talking some of these kids. We'll definitely do it. But you have the White House puts, we really saved America before GTA 6. Make America great again. You have Secretary Kennedy come out. We flipped the food pyramid before we got to GTA 6. Everybody is taking advantage of this. I think actually I do have this Kennedy one. Take listen to this one. Why does this all matter, folks? I'm speaking to the Gen X and the boomers now, right? My peeps and the older peeps, because there's targeted audiences and targeted groups. If you've read the first book on General Flynn and Boone Cutler's Fifth Generation Warfare, you're going to understand targeted audiences and targeted groups. And whether you agree with it or not, this type of content that they're putting out there is going to appeal to certain targeted groups and targeted audiences. This is very important. And the fact that this administration understands that is huge. And why? Because look at what Obama did by taking the White House to the internet and taking the White House into social media. This serves a purpose. This is not just trolling. It's not just memes. It actually serves a purpose. I want to know who are all my Grand Theft Auto peeps in the chat. I want to know who is cut from the cloth like I am. Then we get to this one, the White House, the boss. I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm going to show you something that, again, a lot of people didn't really talk about it. And I find that, fascinating. But take a listen to this quick. Now, one, important 14-second video. You guys know Q-Proof 14 is a very important one that me and Josh have talked a lot about. But again, it starts off with on the boss, right? Shows France 2026, but he comes out and says, I'm the boss. Why is that important? Because if we weren't paying attention to that, and it's kind of funny that we all kind of reference him as the boss, and now you kind of see the White House adopting that on social media. So that's kind of cool. They're listening to us. But then we go to this post. This is the White House. So real quick, this one is from June 17th. And then this one is from June 17th at 10:43. So 7:56. So just under 3 hours, about 2 hours and 45 minutes or so is the difference. And on this post, what they do is they said, the vibe we bring to the function over 1 hour of I'm the boss. Now, this is 62 minutes. They literally have this clip of him saying, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, for an hour and 2 minutes, 62 minutes. Weird as hell. I can see a minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, I think would be extreme. They literally went to an hour and 2 minutes, 62 minutes. So if we go to post 62, it's dated November 2nd, 2017. It says, highly recommend someone take all my crumbs and put into a massive dump, a single shot. This will be considered the biggest inside approved dump in American history. They're beginning to understand as Podesta's attorney was just notified. All my dumps are being recorded, but again, it doesn't matter. Alice in Wonderland. Where is Barack Obama today? Now, the biggest dump, biggest insider, right? Here's the word that I really want to capitalize. The words. Biggest inside approved. Why? Because that's going to play into our final conversation that we're almost there, folks. We're almost there to the final conversation. But before we get there, Homeland Security, get out right now. Now, this one I found pretty interesting because I'm not going to play the music because that would definitely give me a copyright violation. That's right there. But get out right now. Are they talking about the illegals? It makes sense. The context matches. But there's something about this that feels like this message wasn't for us. It wasn't for the illegals. I picked up on this was a message for operatives. And the operatives know which ones it was actually meant for. And I think this was a get out now. Like, how do you not pick up on the messaging on this one? And this kind of just makes me feel like something bad was going to pop off. Maybe a mission got compromised or some information got out there and they were literally telling get out now. Could be wrong, but anyways, that's just kind of what I picked up on that. And then we get into this. What is Dan referring to? Something is about to happen. This is a very peculiar post from Dan. I'm glad Josh picked up on this one too. So take a listen to Dan Bongino here.
Closer you get to God, the harder the devil works on you. Well, the devil's working overtime now. He's cashing in that OT check, probably spreading the wealth around too. Folks, something else is going to happen. If this is the last show I do or Erica or anyone else, I just want it on the record that I was on the right side of this. And by the right side, I don't elevate myself or my character above you or anyone else. I just mean like the non-demon side.
He's concerned about something enough to go before he knows how big his audience is. And obviously he's being, vague here, but he knows something is coming down the chain. And he wants to make sure that whatever it is, that we interpret it the correct way and that he was on the right side of that. Now, I've kind of been banging my head around this one. It's too hard given the very, very limited information that he gave us. But the only real kind of deduction I could pull out of this is that something's going to come out that's not going to be maybe so obvious on who's good and who's bad. And that there's going to be maybe some fog of war, confusion, and whatever that is. And I apologize for not knowing what that is. I just don't. But he's making sure that he's providing clarity of, I was on the good side of it. Now, that's kind of important because if you're someone whose discernment tells you that Bongino is a good guy, then this turns into a helpful hint. Because if whatever's coming down the pipe is something that's confusing, but your discernment has always told you Dan's good, then you can kind of look to the side that he is and trust your discernment on him to assist you with your discernment on whatever potentially is coming that he's referencing. To be like, well, if he's on this side, then that must be the good side. I don't know. I anticipate we're going to find out because obviously he went public with it. If it wasn't going to be public, I don't think he would have addressed it. So there's kind of my thoughts on that. Hopefully that made sense and wasn't too confusing, which now takes us into this great stuff, which is going to bring us into the final descent for this very awesome part. Anonymous Patriot puts out, did John Solomon just hint at being approached by the Q team? Check out this video where he seems to drop a massive clue. Now, if you have watched, I think it was either Q After Hours or Death Con, we kind of talked about this already. You know, Josh has talked about this for a very long time, but this is, you guys get to hear it with his words instead of us kind of telling you the story. So probably one of the most important videos you're going to see in tonight's show. So take a listen.
Perhaps the most profound moment of the last decade of my career occurred in March of 17. I had just done a story that got Sean Hannity's attention. So I was on Fox News. It was about a rapid rise in unmaskings, where Americans' intelligence is looked at, even though there's no warrant. They unmask your name and they know what you said to someone overseas and they don't get a warrant for it. And it had gone up like 200-300% in the last year of Barack Obama, which is very odd. It was odd to the FISA court. That's why they put the data out. They were concerned that this is a trend. I just thought it was a good civil liberty story, so I wrote it. And at that point, I had been repeatedly told that don't waste your time on Russia collusion. It's going nowhere. And by the way, from some of the most senior leaders of the FBI and the Justice Department, the very people who might also have gone out and told us there was something there when there wasn't. But they were telling me it wasn't. Got home about 10:45, 11 o'clock at night. My wife's already in bed. I pull in the driveway and there's a blue sedan sitting in front of my mailbox with its yellow fog lights on. And I pull in the driveway and these two GI men get out of their car. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And as I'm getting out of my car, say, "Are you Mr. Solomon?" I'm like, "I don't know. Am I being arrested? What's going on?" They get throw cuffs on me. Did I break some classified secret I shouldn't today? And they're like, "You don't know who we are. We can't tell you who we are, but you're at the tip of a very large iceberg, and we hope you drill into it." And I'm like, "What in God's name are you guys talking about?" "Well, that thing you were reporting on television." Yeah, it's a FISA court filing. It is the apex of a very large scandal, and you need to drill down in it. And all right, walk me through this, guy. "Well, we can't tell you. It's all classified." "Okay, that's not very helpful. Can you give me something of more generic description?" "Yeah, we work in the intelligence community, and our agencies were asked to participate in one of the greatest political dirty tricks in history. And if it isn't stopped, and one day when it is uncovered, we will lose the tools that keep you and I safe at night. We won't be able to find terrorists and we won't find spies because these tools will be taken from us because we abused them in the last couple of years." I'm like, holy mackerel, what's going on here? And so they couldn't give me much more detail, but they inspired me to start wondering about whether I was missing something big. And I got home by that time, and there were 20 minutes. It passed about 11:20 at night. From 11:20 at night to 2 in the morning, I wrote a long email to my then work sister, Sarah Carter, who was just a fantastic reporter. Now the drug czar for President Trump. And I just tried to remember everything they told me. Like, "Sarah, I don't know what the hell these guys are trying to tell us, but tomorrow morning, let's wake up and find out." And that sent us on our journey.
Now, why is this important? Again, it's going to set up this conversation that we're moving into. I believe I know who I think I'm pretty confident, at least in who one of these military people were. I think I probably know both, but one, I think I'm pretty confident who it is. And I'm not going to share because I ain't trying to compromise anything. If I am correct, right? There's no net benefit to putting that information out there. Other than if we ever do find out, it's going to be, I think, kind of put a lot of, it'll expose people that attack this person. But why is it important? And I saw someone in the audience put, signature reduction in the ghost army that's out there. I think all of this is absolutely a part of that. But it's important because this, again, is from his posts on August 24th of 2025. But now let's come into why it matters now. So shout out Jordan Sather. I'll be hanging out with his brother at our Badlands Gart in South Dakota, Deadwood, South Dakota. Plane be taking off tomorrow. Very excited about that. But he says John Solomon is going to be Mr. D-class for the Trump administration. Point man. Awesome. So given the video you just heard from the past, or him sharing an old story, it's an old story that he's sharing. Now listen to this and put two and two together.
One programming note, I want to make sure everybody on this show is aware of it. I put it as a disclaimer on all my shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months, I'm working as an unpaid government employee to help the government identify documents that can be released to the public. It's your information, after all. Bureaucrats keep us from it. I have an opportunity to help the government identify some documents, some secrets, some things you should know about when it comes to weaponization, election integrity, other things. We're going to work on that. But during that time, I just want you to know, I've stepped aside as the editor-in-chief of Just the News. I still do my reporting. We're still going to do the amazing show here with Amanda. But I want everybody to know that I'm doing this. I'm unpaid. I don't take any money from the government. I think it's a good role for a journalist to play, getting more information out. But I want you to know personally.
Mr. D-Class, folks, we are there. When he says, I'm going to help them find, what he's saying is I'm going to help them choreograph. They know where everything's at. They're probably going to, put the final sprinkles on this beautiful dessert, but they know where everything's at. And he's going to come out and they're going to outline, they're going to make the adjustments to this particular phase of the operation, and the D-Class is coming. I think that is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And again, he's doing it as an unpaid government employee. And I think that's very good to put out the fires ahead of time that, he did it to get paid. There was a financial incentive. He's doing good on his own. He's doing this out of sheer patriotism. And I think that's absolutely important. Folks, we are there. That word precipice that has gotten used so much over the last 10 years, which I would argue is because every phase does have a precipice, but we are looking at one of the final precipice of this operation, of this plan that's unfolding. And so with that, we're almost there, folks. Kelly Meyer puts out, per the White House schedule just released, President Trump is set to go to Camp David this weekend. That was on June 18th. Which takes us into Rapid Response 47. These fools who think I have been tough enough on Iran, who I haven't been tough enough on Iran when the stock market just hit a record high and oil prices are tumbling down, are either jealous, bad people, or stupid. Make America great again, President DJT. And then to wrap up this segment, as we bring it into the segment you guys have been anticipating since yesterday, America never loses. Always winning. This is phenomenal. This came in on the 18th, which now brings us into the final segment of tonight's show, the White House post Q. And then they double down with all the different branches. Are you guys fired up? Are you fired up for this next part? This is the part we've been waiting for so many years. And we're going to address the different perspectives that have brought us to this point, right? Remember the conversations we had earlier in the show? I told you guys, remember this, remember all that's coming to this point, right? This is the apex of tonight's show, right? I have my popcorn on standby. Do you? Well, then do me a solid. Smash that thumb, push that heart, leave a comment. We have over 2,000 people watching live on Rumble right now. Over 1,500 people watching live on YouTube, and almost 3,000 combined on all the other platforms. So we have a very big audience tonight, which is just phenomenal for a Tuesday. And let me take this opportunity to remind you guys that right after this show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, head on over to Badlands on whatever platform you're watching, and you'll see me and Josh on DEFCON tonight. It probably won't be too long of a show since we both have a lot to do to catch some very early flights. So with that, let's move into this. Let's start off with this one. June 21st at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. my time, if you're looking at what's on the clock or on the screen, says, we on go. Fire. And do I have this little clip for you? I do not. But again, it's just the music playing in the background. But the important part here is we on go. All right. Who are they talking about? Right? Us on go? Who's on go? Go for green. Middle girl says, love alpha positivity. I love you guys. Hey, here's the thing. Everybody wants us to be afraid and feel like we're losing. And so many people have fallen victim to that. It's sad. I've been in combat. I know what it's like when morale ain't good. I know what it's like when morale is good. And I know that when you remove morale out of both of those equations and look at just the facts of those scenarios, when the morale was good, we actually had a harder situation that we were dealing with. It was the way that situation was handled that had morale up. And again, morale is a weapon. And so, my job here is to deliver you guys the truth, make sure that no one attacks our morale, and let us know where the concerns are, where our blind spots are, what's our advantage, what's our Achilles heel, and to win this information war. That is our mission. That's what our unit is doing here. And we're going to win. So White House says, we on go. Well, someone must have said we. So let's start off with this because, let's do a little Pulp Fiction here. Let's go a little forward and then bring a little bit back. Shout out Bradmaker62. Just gifted 5 subscriptions. Love you, Bradmaker. Always going to love you. You've done so much for this family. He says, Patriots, connect the dots. It started with the White House posting, White House will be Q posting today. Now, again, I actually think it happened with the post, we on go. But to the day, I agree with Enoch on this. But it says, it started with the White House posting, White House will be Q posting today. And by Q, we mean quantum. Stay tuned. And I'm going to show you these posts. Then the Department of War room engaged, including a meme with President Trump and a prominent Q right behind him. You're going to see this one too. Later, the White House dropped their own mock-up Q-style post. Q is for quantum. But here's where it gets wild. The White House Deputy War Room Director, Bobby Levi, tweeted the original post with activation word Ronald McDonald. And then people started to blow up my DMs and like, this guy was shitting on Q in the past. And our vice president was shitting on Trump in the past, and he's now the vice president. Get over it. So, but here's the other parts that continue going on, because activation word Ronald McDonald, for those who've been following that with the video, then Elon posted it. There's obviously very important. I would say go watch the Just Alpha. Was that 3 shows ago? It's in the title. It'll bring up Ronald McDonald if you want the full debrief on that. The exact phrase and meme didn't come out of nowhere. It was originally posted by Elon Musk back on November 4th of 2024 in a video where at the 37-second mark, Q appears on the screen and says activation word, and you hear Ronald McDonald. They're using the same activation codes Elon dropped years ago from the White House, from the Department of War, from Elon. Why is the White House and the Department of War engaging the Q community with memes, mock Q posts, and activation words if it's supposedly just a joke? And why has mainstream media asked President Trump 0 questions about any of this today? We're watching it all unfold in real time. Where we go one, we go all. Now let's check out some of these things. Just then, President Trump signs 2 major executive orders on quantum technologies, quote, that will strengthen America's place as the world leader in this very important emerging field. I want to thank Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, right? So we have Trump on the morning of, or early afternoon of June 22nd, come out and sign these executive orders, right? To strengthen our quantum technologies. I'm so fired up for this part. I've been anticipating it just as much as you guys have, which brings us to the executive order 14411, ushering in the next frontier of quantum innovation. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to read this executive order, but I'll just read the first part here. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1 purpose, America stands at the cusp of a quantum revolution. Quantum information sciences and technology, QIST, will provide transformational capabilities that will drive American innovation, power economic growth, generate high-paying jobs, and bolster national security. In 2018, I laid the foundation for the United States leadership in QIST by signing into law the National Quantum Initiative Act and doubling federal investment in QIST research and development. Today, as other nations move quickly to challenge American leadership, the United States must take a cohesive, whole-of-government approach to accelerate development and commercialization of quantum computing, sensing, and networking. And I'll put that link in the comments later on tonight when I would do some of the editing for those of you that want to read the whole thing. So now that we're here, let's get into these. Enter the White House post this. The White House will be Q posting today, ... But then when you go to see the timestamp, you're like, well, what the hell's going on here? They purposely made a huge gap and then bring us to line 49. People found a hidden character at 438, which looks like a space character. And it says, and by Q, we mean quantum. Stay tuned with the little eyes, right? So this set the internet on fire. I was actually doing a Badlands show when this was going on, and my phone and notifications were like bing, 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 bing. Everybody, I was like, what the hell's going on? So finally during the show, I even clicked on one. I was like, the White House just created a Q post and posted it, right? It was phenomenal. But again, this alone, if this would have been all they did, this is huge for the morale of the Q community. Shout out, Annie, get your gun. Just Rumble rent $50. God bless you and your family. Thank you. Damn. Y'all just, I'm already fired up. And you guys go in there and you drop some support like that. You guys are rad. I probably dated myself with that, but rad was such a cool word, wasn't it? Remember Ninja Turtles, Bossa Nova, cool, whatever, Cowabunga. Y'all know how to distract me too. But the White House comes out and posts. The White House will be Q posting today. That's huge, folks. If you have been an Anon, a digital soldier, somebody in the Q community, you have seen people hold on it, betray it, backstab it, use it, grift off it, you name any type of bad shit, they have exploited the Q community for that. You've had the people that have pretended to be Q adjacent, you know, Alex Jones and others. You have had people build their name and reputations and brand off of it, only to turn around and when they see it trending to shit all over it, start attacking Q and start attacking two of the most important phases, trust the plan, and where we go one, we go all. But the majority of you watching, the majority of you and me, no one shook our resolve. No one was able to get into these brain housing groups and compromise our understanding and assessments of what was going on. So for that, because now everybody after this point, everybody after this post, you don't get the same level of respect and love from me. But everybody prior to this post that maintain institutional integrity into the Q community, my massive amount of respect. You did it when it was not cool. You did it when it wasn't trending. You did it when it was going to come at a cost. And for that, Semper Fi, warriors. Because everybody now that's doing it after the fact, you did it when it was cool and it felt safe again. So welcome to the party. Here you are with open arms. We're on the same team, but we're not the same. So that brings us to the next post, right? CNN senior correspondent, and MJ says, what a loser. Donnie Solom says the White House is posting fake QAnon posts to promote executive orders on quantum computing. And again, I'm not going to go through all of them. I wanted to highlight this one, but you had all these people coming out. This is the White House making fun of Q. This is the White House that's clowning on them. This is the White House trolling them. No, that's you. That's you in the stages of grief called denial. That's what that is. President Trump runs the White House, you clowns. All right. And if you're my friends, listen, we're friends, but you're still retarded. Okay. This is you struggling. This is you not accepting. This is you trying to create every out there because you can't comprehend that you were wrong. You can't comprehend because you told yourself you were smart. You told yourself you were right. You told yourself that you knew what was going on. You told yourself that your sources were better. And in the end, you were wrong. And guess what? This is your opportunity to recognize that and build a stronger version of yourself, to set aside your ego and to set aside your pride, because we're going to poke at you a little bit because that comes with the territory. When I'm wrong, it'll happen to me. But in the meantime, set aside your ego, set aside your pride, and use this as a learning experience to realize, as smart as I am, because a lot of you are smart, you just got this one wrong. But this is an opportunity for you to realize, man, in as smart as I was and as accurate as I was in everything else, why didn't I recognize that this was legit? Why didn't I recognize that our president and white hats and a military operation that no one's ever seen before, nobody will ever see before? Why didn't I see it? And as you start to debrief yourself on that, you are going to come out stronger. You're going to come out better, and you're going to come out a better asset to the operation, because the war is not over. We're just entering into another phase here. And so with that, folks, make fun of them because they need to be made fun of. But also remember, we are on the same team. And make sure that as we make fun of them, that we do it with love. Not with ego and pride either, because it'll come bite us eventually. But make fun of them with love and let them know that they're still a part of the team, and that being wrong on such a large magnitude, because we all saw it so easy, is just something that they're going to have to swallow, right? So with that, let's keep going. Actually, we got some more Rumble Rants that came in. The Boom Diggity coming in. Check out the DOD post just a few minutes ago. Let's fucking go. Okay, let me grab that link real quick. Give me 1 second. And bear with me. This is the cool part of doing live. Bring it up on a different browser real quick. All right, so I have that up, Boom Diggity, and I will get to that before we finish the show. So thank you, $50, man. You guys are solid. And then we have $20 coming in from PS Farm Girl over there on Rumble Rants. Alpha, my 92-year-old godmother says my positivity has never waned. A lot of that is due to your and Josh's information. Thank you. Trump is my president, and God is my father. Thank you for that, PS Farm Girl. Thank you for that. Seriously, from me and Josh, thank you very much. That is a cool compliment right there. And then Q Patriot Angel gifted 5 subscriptions. You guys are making today's show freaking awesome. And not that you guys have to do that. Of course, financial contributions bring a bunch of relief to me. This is how I keep this show going. This is also how I take care of my family. So it's appreciated. Just know that even if you guys weren't doing it, we'll find a way for this show to always continue on. We did it back when we were struggling, and now that we got some breathing room, it's nice. And I just want you guys to know that it's appreciated. So let's keep going, because we're on the clock now. Clock is a ticking. Then the White House comes out and drops this bad boy. Scott Brady puts out, "Good night, Frosters. Tomorrow's wake-up call, courtesy of the White House Fraud Task Force." And it shows JD and his guys activated. Right now, granted, that's not a government account. It's not, but a government account reposted it and put the little eyes left, right? And that was from the White House Task Force to eliminate fraud. So they're even using the activation. So they're covering all the corners, right? They're making sure that they're making sure that the word I'm looking for here is undeniably, and you'll see why that makes sense. Then you got the Department of War that just mic drop, right? If there was any confusion up to this point, there's definitely not. Are you enjoying the show? Refill your popcorn. You'll love this next part. American Quantum, Q in the parentheses, dominance. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, they put a big old fucking Q right behind Trump. I've been so damn excited. There's probably a plus in there somewhere. we haven't picked up on it yet. But damn, the president of the United States, and they go and just drop a digital Q behind this guy. I mean, wait, there's more. The White House comes and creates a fucking Q post. I'm sorry for my language. I was fired up yesterday, and now I'm just fired up more. Always trust. Eyes left. And they do it. They create a post 47. This is for those that are new to Q. This is not the actual Q47 post. We'll get there. But they do something that's very interesting. They go and let me zoom out a little bit just so you guys can see the whole thing here. They do something here that's very significant. They do it as a delta. Why is that important? Two reasons. A, it shows that the White House staff, whoever Trump tasked with doing this, right, that they all have a working understanding of how we read and interpret the boards. That is significant. So they're showing that on June 22nd, which was yesterday, they do the post as a June 22nd post. So they're showing it as a delta. So they're showing that deltas are still relevant, just so everybody understands. They highlight Make America Great Again, and then they say America will be the world's leader in quantum technology. And again, it's post 47. Why does this matter? Because now we're going to take it into my post. The White House putting Q in the spotlight makes the haters so mad. Trust the plan is the haters' kryptonite, LOL. It's beautiful, enjoy it. There's a reason to spotlight it. Is it conversation or is it something more? Excited to see this one play out. Highlights in the real post are from something else, FYI. Now here's where I'm going with this. Again, we saw that one, the White House post, but now I want to go to the real post 47. And in the real post 47, it says you can paint the picture based solely on questions asked, be vigilant today, and expect a major false flag. Does anyone find it to be a coincidence there is always a terrorist attack when bad news breaks for the Ds? What is it called? Military relevant. How? Barack Obama could not and would not allow the military to destroy ISIS. Why? How was ISIS formed? When? How has POTUS made such progress in the short time that he's been president? Alice in Wonderland. Now, if that doesn't fire you up, right? Then let's go to one of the June 22nd deltas. And I still got another one coming for you. Don't worry. And 1587 reads Q&A reschedule forthcoming. Is the Q&A coming? Are the boards going to post the Q&A again? I actually think it'll be something a little different. I don't think it's going to be to the boards. I think one of the things that me and Josh have kind of adopted as our theory is that this new battlefield has been brought to X. And it's going to, I think this Q&A is going to unfold here. Not sure how it looks like. I'm open to your guys' kind of thoughts and theories behind this. Let me know in the comments. But it still gets better, right? The White House, the next frontier of quantum innovation. Wait, it still gets better. Q is for quantum. This is all still on the 22nd. Under President Trump's leadership, quantum is making a massive leap, and America is at the forefront of these innovations and groundbreaking technologies. Wait, it gets better. Then today, the Department of War comes out. Where we go one, we go quantum, right? A take from where we go one, we go all, and they put where we go one, we go quantum. Huge. Why? Because that also brings in the John F. Kennedy bell. That brings all the significance of that statement with it. Which then, and there is a post missing here. Hold on, let me grab this for you guys because it's the most important one that I want to show you guys. So bear with me a second. Because I apologize, it should have been there regardless. Let me grab it, let me copy it, let me go full screen with me. You know, maybe it was meant to be put in this new position. I'm posting it there for you guys to see. Give me 1 second. Okay. And then while we're there, let's do a quick shout out. $10 again coming in from PS Farm Girl. I too will be traveling early tomorrow, a wedding. Safe travels to you, Josh Ghost, and all the other Badlanders. I love Nashville, Gart. Thank you for that, PS Farm Girl. And then we got Trumper1 is now a monthly supporter. Thank you for joining the family, Trumper1, and hopefully everybody there will welcome you as well. So thank you for coming a monthly supporter. Now, let's bring in the most important post. Yeah, the most important video tonight. Now this is the most important post tonight. For those that are new to this, the White House posted this at 2:25 p.m. Eastern time, or 1425 hours military time. Q post 1425, which is what we take from the military time, reads as follows. Given we have now undeniably, on purpose, verified ourselves to be an inside source, expect the mainstream media, clown army, to attack in full cooperation with foreign and domestic assets. Be prepared. Trust the plan. Conspiracy no more. We are in full control. Now, what I want to show you guys is the post 1425. I want to go to this post right here and look at the parts that I highlighted. Oh, gosh, I wish it was bigger. Hold on. We're going to open this, open image in new tab. And then let me zoom in. This one's too important. I'm going to find a way to make this work. Here we go. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. Thank you, technology. In post 1425, think about everything we've seen. White House saying we're going to be Q posting. This is what Q means. They're putting a big Q behind President Trump, right? Then again, doubling down today, second day in a row. Where we go one, we go quantum, right? Hat tip to where we go one, we go all. And they do the first one, right? The trust the plan with the eyes, right? They do it at a 1425 timestamp, right? 2:25 Eastern. Listen to what it says here. Given we have now undeniably on purpose verified ourselves to be an inside source. Remember earlier, inside source with the White House post? Remember I told you it was going to become relevant again? Here we are. What do you think they just did for the last 2 days now? Today being the second day. Undeniable that the White House is posting on Q, and it's on purpose. This isn't a timestamp correlation that Anons and digital soldiers have been doing. This is something that everybody, it's undeniable. Everybody recognizes, even the haters, that this is Q, right? That this is built around Q, this communication, that all of us as the targeted groups and targeted audiences, this is all meant to bring us to the conversation of questions and answers revolving what? Q. It's undeniable. And it was on purpose. The White House folks, the biggest takeaway from all this is that the White House, Trump's White House, has now verified themselves as the inside source. That's where we're at. Says the attacks are going to come. You've already seen them. Be prepared. Trust the plan, conspiracy no more. So if at this point you were still hesitant, you didn't know, the White House folks, right? Not Anons, not digital soldiers. The White House gave you this post. The White House, President Trump's White House is now telling you, trust the plan is not a conspiracy, folks. We are in full control. Timed this shirt perfectly, right? Pain. God, I'm fired up with that. Brings us to the final one on this, and then I told you about that awesome clip, and we did it perfect time to get ready for the DEF CON show. Who is Q? And I agree with Julie on this one. The most genius military operation ever. And we were right all along. It is God's plan. Hold. Let's take a listen to Trump's son.
Who is Q? You'll never know, folks. I'm not sure. Or maybe I know and I just can't tell you. Who do you guys think it is, out of curiosity? Salty cracker for press secretary? Q is Trump? I don't know.
Shout out. The New Life F1s, Semper Fortis. Thank you for that. And then we got another one coming in. $5 from Miss DJ Liberty. Thanks for keeping us informed and positive about the future. And thank you for your support, folks. What he says there. We may never know, and he chuckles. I think we'll get enough for us in the conspiracy world to be like, oh, we were right. I don't ever think we're going to get the concrete confirmation. And the reason being, and this is one that I think there's a potential. It's 50-50. I could be wrong on this one. But just, this is an operation that was done to perfection against the most powerful enemy that exists on this planet. And until God comes, that enemy is always going to try to rebuild itself, and it'll wait 100 years or 1,000 years to try to take over humanity again. And if this operation worked now, then the advanced portion or the advanced understanding of this operation would have to be delivered later, which means you couldn't ever jeopardize by telling it. So I think that there is a a level of knowledge we're going to be given that it happened. But I don't know if we ever fully get Trump to say, yeah, I'm Q+. I don't think we get that. And again, I'm 50-50 on this one where I could be wrong. That's just my assessment. And I think even Junior is kind of agreeing with me on this. So with that, folks, again, thank you for joining me tonight. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, whatever platform you're watching. The content is free. And if you're in a position to become a monthly supporter on whatever platform you're watching on, I would absolutely appreciate that. No one owns this channel. This is my content. This is our content. This is our Alpha Warrior family. And that's why we can talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. And so with that, let me say a quick prayer. And then I got that awesome video on the way out. And then you guys remember, in about 15 minutes over there on Badlands, DEFCON 0, where you'll catch me and Josh to wrap up the night. So with that, Father, hold on. Let me take this off and go here. Father, thank you for another day of life. Thank you for my amazing audience. Thank you for my amazing family. Father, as me and my friends and coworkers start to travel over the next few days, please be with us. Please be with the people and flying our planes, driving our buses, driving our trains, whatever mode of transportation is there. Please be with me and my friends to get us to where we need to go safely, as well as our audience that is going out there to support us, and also be with our families that are left behind to sacrifice their time, but to give us a way to others. Father, I ask that you continue to watch over the children, that you continue to give the knowledge and courage to the police officers and federal agents and military personnel that are out there putting their lives in harm's way to save these children. Father, I ask that you continue to guide this nation, that you help those with hardened hearts to soften it, and to remember the love of this country, to remember the love of you. Father, I ask that as we filter out evil, that we also start to prepare to become a unified humanity. Father, we pray and we ask all this in your son Jesus' name. Amen. Folks, this was a fun show tonight. We are in good times. So with that, I will get this next video ready to go. It's a little over 2 minutes. And I'll catch you guys on DEFCON. Good night. God bless.